Today, we're going to add on what we've been doing, the easy stuff we've been doing the last couple days. Okay? By working, now we're going to solve those algebraic equations, those expressions. We're going to solve for x, we're going to solve for a variable. Today, all we're going to do is we're going to solve by either adding or subtracting. And that's it. By adding or subtracting. Just like yesterday, how easy it was, today is just as easy. Now what I want to do, first thing, is I put a line down the equal sign. Because right now, when I have an equation, it's equal on both sides. I don't know what x is, but my goal is to find out what x is to make this a true statement. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. And if I do that, then I keep them equal. I keep them even. So I look at what's being done to x. My goal, okay, anytime we're solving the equation, my goal is always to get the variable by itself. So I want to get x by itself. So I do that by looking at what's being done to x. Someone raise their hand and tell me, what am I doing to x? Ben? I'm adding it to what? I'm adding it to 120. So what I'm trying to do, I do the opposite to get x by itself. So what's the opposite of adding 120? Subtracting 120. What's 120 minus 120? 0. It cancels itself out. Now what I do to one side, I do to the other. So I've got 168 minus 120. So what is x equal to? 48. Now here's the deal about this homework. You shouldn't get any wrong, and here's why. Because you can always check your answer. I plug 48 in for x and see if it comes out right. See if it makes this true. What's 120 plus 48? 168. So, did I get the right answer? Yes. X has to be 48. So there lies the answer. So, I look at what's being done to x. My goal is always to get x by itself. So, what's x minus 7? Okay, what would I do to x minus 7? I would do the opposite of subtracting 7. What is the opposite of subtracting 7? Adding 7. X is equal to, what's negative 4 plus 7? It is 3. Positive 3. Because if I drew it on a number line, I start at negative 4 and I go 7 spaces this way, I end up on the positive side, right?
Yes.
At 3.
It makes so much more sense than about 3.
Now, should I just go on? Should I just assume I'm right? No, always check your answer. What's 3 minus 7?
4. Negative 4.
What's 3 minus 7?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So x must be 3. Easy enough, right?
Yeah. Compared to yesterday.
Write this down. I want to get n by itself. I want to get the variable by itself because I want to find out what it is. So I look at what's being done to n. I'm subtracting 9.7. So how do I undo minus 9.7? Add 9.7. Okay, negative 9.7 plus 9.7 cancels itself out. And I add 9.7 to this. Now, what's my answer going to be? Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? Okay, it's going to be a negative answer. And if you have trouble with this, just do 13.9 minus 9.7. Okay, you get 4.2. So what do you think negative 13.9 plus 9.7 is? Negative 4.2.
You just confused me.
No, that's the right answer.
Can I check my answer?
Yeah.
Okay, so negative 4.9 minus 9.7, what would it give me? Negative 13.9. I must be right. All right, I want you to write this down, work it out. I look at what's being done to y. I'm adding 10, so I subtract 10. Okay, we were adding, now we're going to subtract. What's 23 minus 10?
13.
Can I check my answer?
Yeah.
13 plus 10 is 23. There's my answer. I look, 16 plus a equals 14. What am I doing to a? I'm adding 16 to it, right? Okay. I look at, or like, cause later we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing. Then we're going to talk about putting those all together, where it's 2 or 3 steps. I'm looking at order of operations. What would I do to a if I knew what it was? Like if I knew A was 1, what would I do to it? I would add 16 to it. So to find out what A is, I do the opposite of that. If 16 is positive, how do I know it's positive?
Because there's no negative.
If there's not a negative sign in front, then I know it's positive. So how do I undo a positive number?
Add a negative number.
I add a negative number to it, or I subtract from it. So I'm going to subtract 16 to both sides. 14 minus 16 is negative 2. Right? And again, if you're not for sure, check your answer. What's 16 minus 2?
14.
14, I must be right. Now, here's your homework assignment. 1 through 6, it wants you a graph, like on a number line. Just work it out. You don't have to.